Please stand face the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we ask that you'd be with us this evening in this meeting. We ask your blessing upon this council and on our administration and upon all the employees of the city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I'd like to call this evening's meeting of the Jackson City Council to order. The Chair would like to thank Mr. Peters for getting us signed up and on YouTube this evening in the absence of Ms. Kuhn. Could I have roll call? Thank you to Mr. Kirby, who's serving as the clerk this evening.
Don't thank me yet. Okay, Foster. Elliott.
Here.
Colby.
Colby.
Peters. Here. Newkirk. Here. Young.
Here.
And Bob. Here.
All right, agenda next is recognitions. Mayor, you have anything?
None tonight, yeah.
We need to excuse.
Excuse,
I make a motion we excuse Mr. Foster.
is there a second, Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. None on the recognitions, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
We have one person who signed up to speak this evening on the list, Mr. Scott Massey. Scott, if you want to step up there, you have 3 minutes, and I know, I don't want to give you too...
I won't use 3 minutes. I'll be brief and I'll be seated. Just wanted to, a couple comments on the proposed rezoning and the vote this evening. I just wanted to address a couple items. One is I want to reiterate to council that the traffic pattern is off of State Route 93. We're not coming through any residential districts or streets. We've agreed to pay ODOT for the traffic study. There's 2 roads that are currently platted that comes into the property. We're neutral on to which one that they choose. They've indicated initially that the location between West Banco and Arby's is probably the most likely. But we've agreed to pay for that traffic study and support them in their recommendation. And the other thing I wanted to indicate was, there was concern about some mounding and some architectural features that surround the property. The zoning ordinances, make clear what the minimum requirements are. That's the minimum we'll do. We'll obviously try and do as best we can to satisfy those folks and engage them, to a reasonable degree to try and make it satisfactory for them. And the same thing with the state of Ohio with surface water runoff and the requirements for that. They dictate the minimum requirements, and typically we'll try and do a little bit more than that and make it aesthetically as pleasing as possible. So those are the 2 things I just wanted to reiterate, and I just appreciate your consideration for the rezoning, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Questions of council? Next, we'll have approval of the minutes. There was a set of minutes that was in your packet from our last meeting. That was on, excuse me for not having that date,
27.
the 27th. Is there any objections or corrections to the minutes as presented to council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to Mr. Elliott. Second by Ms. Colby. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, we will speak about the committee reports. Our chairman will start with utility, Mr. Newkirk. Thank you, Mr. Newkirk. Budget and finance, Ms. Colby.
No report.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. Mr. Foster is absent this evening, so we'll go to service. Mr. Peters.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Auditor's report, Mr. Reed.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Kirby.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Chief Hinch.
Just briefly, I did email all the council members in a group email. Did everybody receive those? Did anybody not received those. You did not. I've sent it out as a group with the.
It's not your fault, it's mine. I mean, mine doesn't work.
Oh, okay. I will check on that to make sure I can get.
Okay, I'll get you mine, yeah.
What I basically emailed you was a copy of monthly statistics that are
Oh, okay.
typically in the council packets, along with, if there are questions, concerns, I'd like you to maybe give some feedback on how you'd like to shape the chief of police report. I don't want to come here and bore you with stories of what we have or have not done, or acquiring, not acquiring, things like that. What I'd like is your feedback, whether that's through you personally, with the knowledge that you guys have in the city, or relaying reasonable questions through constituents, and that way I could maybe better answer to all of council and the public on what you want to hear about, instead of what I think maybe is important or is not important. So just want to put that out.
Thank you, Chief Hinch. Questions for Chief Hinch? Sorry, council. Chief Hickey?
Yeah, I've got a handout here I want to give you guys. Jackson, for the first time in its history, has been, you don't have to read this, but it's been classified by ISO as a 4Y. And I'll explain to you what that means. It is, they rate communities based on their fire protection from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 1 being the best. We've always been a 5 the last 10 or so years. Of those last 10 years, we were a 6 until Richard Eubanks got us up to a 5. This year we were able to get up to a 4. Earlier in the year I was audited by ISO. They come into our fire department, met with myself, David Swackhammer, Greg Farr, and I've got a list of things that go into that rating. The rating, it goes into 3 main categories: the fire department, water supply, and communications. In the fire department, they look at response time, the amount of personnel that respond, the training we go through, the equipment we have, and the shape of the equipment. Our inspection and testing programs, we test pumps, fire hose, SCBAs, ladders. Automatic mutual aid was a big driver. It shows a higher response initially on the page out. It doesn't require me to request additional help. Public safety education, where we go to the schools and help, that is also in that evaluation. The water supply, hydrant flow, and our flushing program is the second big topic they look at, and the third is the communications. We have switched to a computer-aided dispatch center. It provides mapping, directions, and information as the dispatcher's getting it. And then we've switched the grant we got, you guys approved us to apply for, to the MARC system, which allows us to talk across the entire state of Ohio. PD's been on it for a long time. With that, we're able to elevate ours to a 4Y for the first time ever, and you should see a positive reflection in your insurance rates. Dan can probably explain that a little more. I know it does help. So that's where we're at with that. I got notification, I think it was late October. I got a couple, last week, or last council meeting, I wasn't able to attend, and Mr. McMillan asked some questions about Redondo. I looked at the hydrant flow data there. We are aware of those areas as a fire department, and we do respond accordingly. There are a couple areas in the community that do have lower flowing hydrants than we would like to see. So we do adjust our response to protect those areas better. There are several we do have them identified. One other thing he brought up was the color coding of the hydrants. That's an NFPA recommendation. Our hydrants aren't color coded currently, but the software we do carry on all of our personal phones in our trucks are color coded. So when we get mapping directions, the nearest 15 hydrants to our accident scene or our fire, our scene, are shown on the map. Those nearest 15 hydrants are color coded. So when we're traveling down the road as we're responding, that's something the passenger's looking at, that's something the incident commander's looking at as we go through the app. As we're getting more information from dispatch, we can start identifying which hydrants we want to use. So we do have that capability inside our department. If anybody wants to see that app, I can show you. It's pretty nice. We put it in place about 6 months ago. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Chief Hickey. Any questions? Chief Hickey? Well, I will say, from an insurance perspective, as he was talking about, this certainly will help individual homeowners and also commercial insureds in our city. The lower the rating, the better the cost. So as we go, usually a 10, as you spoke about, a 10 is usually very rural, over 5 miles from a department. And then as departments are under 5 miles, it usually goes to a 9 and only goes down from there. So during my time as an insurance agent, we did start at a 6 and went to 5. Like Village of Oak Hill, Madison Jefferson, they were a 7 for a long time. I've gone to 6, moving to 5, but this will release some of the burden for insurance. So I think it's a very positive thing, getting this fire rating. Next, Mayor Evans.
Update council on some projects. We've obviously finished paving for the summer. A few little details to fix up yet, but little fun facts, we paved over 5 miles of city streets again this year on 15 different streets. We've got over 50 miles, and we paved another 5 of them this year. Over 6,000 tons of asphalt laid during the summer period. We've already got a list for next year's paving, but if any of you guys want to add something to that, of course, just let us know. And remind everyone again, this is all being done with income tax money. On the memorial building, we have signed the contracts for the limestone salvage for that building. That should start soon. There's a pre-construction meeting later this week that will release that work to be done. Also this week, on Thursday, we'll be receiving the rebids for the demo of the building. So that should, in the next couple of weeks, hopefully we'll get bids on that this week, and we'll be able to move ahead with that too. Reminder, that project also is mostly grant funds, where we were able to get $2.5 million from the Capitol bill, thanks largely to our Representative Stevens. We've also got a grant and some help through the Jackson County Economic Development on that project. And our downtown project, there again, $3.5 million or $3.7 million grant is what's paying for that job. It is moving along. The water line replacement is the first part of that project. It's going pretty well. There's a lot of disturbance downtown, but the contractor Geiger Brothers is working on that, and they're doing the best job they can to try to keep the downtown businesses open and going. The Broadway, the water lines are done, and a large part of that, and the next work will be the concrete work that goes along. Also, recently we were notified of another $1.5 million grant we received from ODOT funds to replace a bridge on Burlington Road between Huron Street and South Street. There's a bridge there that failed inspection. I know a year or two ago we had to post down the load limits on it, so we were able to put in and get a grant to replace that. It'll be, I think our share on the construction of that bridge is only like 5%, so it's mostly funded through ODOT. So another great job of getting grant money in here from my staff. The ODOT projects move pretty slow, as we know. We've got another one in our legislation tonight. This work will probably be done in 2028. So we got to start, we've already got the grant. It just takes that long. A project using ODOT grant money is 2 to 3 years in the making, but it will happen. That is one of several bridges in our city that have had some negative inspections, or some not up to par inspections. We have one on Gay Street that also is going to need replaced. We have one on Vaughn Street as you go up to high school that's going to need replaced. Both of them have had marks down in the inspections in recent years. But we will keep trying to get grant money to do it. Those are very expensive projects, and we don't like to spend our money for it if we can get grant money for it. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
Questions for the mayor?
Mr. President, where are we on street paving? Like, what percentage of the streets have been paved since the projects have started, or what, about to start year 5 or 6? Or,
Yeah, we're a little over half.
okay?
Yeah,
So-
I didn't tally it up, but I would say we've done at least 25 miles overall in the last 5 years.
The reason I ask is because at some point, a lot of the alleys in town are in really bad shape too, and heavily traveled ones as well. So I just wondered where those are are we gonna wait till we pave all the streets before we start to work on those, or there's some really, really bad spots?
We know, yeah, there are, and there's still some really bad streets too,
Yeah.
and we hope to get them, we will get them, you know, it's our plans to get them all. I said in the beginning that I thought it would take, you know, at the rate we're going, it'd take 10 years to do all of them, and then it'll be time to start over. But we have paved a few alleys. We've had some alleys privately paved that looked like we paved them, but we've paved a few, the worst ones in the high-traffic areas. We've patched a lot of them. It's just a matter of priority. If it's on the, you know, if you've got one that you think is a high priority, add it to our list for consideration. Like I said before, we've got a couple already on the list for next year. So we just work them in when we can. It's not that we don't plan to do any alleys. It's just we've been doing the busier, worst streets first, just kind of prioritize them that way. And by the prioritization is by our staff, our managers, the service director, myself, and input we get from council. So we plan to do them all, but it takes a while, including the alleys. I mean, we plan to do the alleys, the rest of the parking lots, all that.
Other
So I hope
questions?
to have it all done the first round in the next 4 years.
Thank you, Mayor. Other questions for the mayor? Mr. Hickey?
That's good news on the grant. I was unaware that we got that, but just so you guys know, that does impact our ability. That's got a 3-ton weight limit. We do not have a single vehicle under that weight limit, so we do have to avoid that bridge, and that'll be instrumental in our responses to getting that fixed. That's great news.
Thank you, Chief. Anything else for the mayor? Now we'll move into the service director, Mr. Swickhammer.
Yes, with the holiday tomorrow, the city is closed, therefore garbage pickup will be on Wednesday for those that were scheduled for tomorrow. Also, over the last, I'd say, 2 months, we have been working to reactivate the HyperReach system so that we can send out notifications when we're working in areas or, you know, if there's borer alerts, so forth. I hope to bring something to council next week, make the announcement, also figure out how we're going to get the information out to the public, whether it's verbiage on the utility bill, plus, you know, we can do Facebook, our website, so forth. But that is the plans, so to let people start signing up for HyperReach, be right after the holiday or right around the holiday. And then there's some stuff around the legislation I'll just wait and speak about if I can when we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Swickhammer. Questions for the service director?
Mr. President, not a question for the service director, but I do have some questions about the redundant water issues, but I'll bring those under old business, if that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Yep, I actually have it penciled in there.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the ordinance and resolution portion of our meeting. We'll begin with ordinance 44-2025. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance rezoning from medium-density residential MDR to industrial I, 23.163 acres owned by Consolidated Health Systems, Inc., and located on SSR Lot 97 and on Lot 64 through 87 of the Walnut Hills subdivision in the city of Jackson, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Foster? Yeah, Elliott?
Abstaining.
Colby?
I have a relative that works for Geiger Brothers.
Okay. Let me just do it this way. Okay, Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Dukar?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Ordinance 44-2025 is duly adopted. Next, for council consideration, second reading, ordinance 48-2025.
Let me catch up with that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll move Sandy. An ordinance providing for the vacation of the alley between lots 30 and 31 of the J.A. Long's addition to the city of Jackson.
Discussion. Hearing none, this is the second reading of ordinance 48-2025. Next, for council consideration, ordinance 53-2025. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance repealing and amending the City of Jackson's codified ordinance sections 1316.99 relating to registration of contractors.
Discussion. Hearing none, this qualifies as your second reading of ordinance 55-2025. Next, second reading, for council consideration, ordinance 54-2025.
An ordinance establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, in the City of Jackson, Ohio pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 4301.82.
Discussion.
Mr. President, we adopted the map, a revised map last meeting, has been distributed, but we failed to update the boundaries. So I would move to add, still our notes here. West side of Broadway from Pearl to 75 Broadway, which is the Lillian Jones Museum, and from 181 Main Street to 601 Main Street, both sides of the street. And present those as a motion to amend 54-2005. I realize it'll send it back to second reading, but just make sure we get it right.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Mr. Elliott, second. Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Dukar?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
So this amends ordinance 54-2025, but this will also bring it back to second reading at our next meeting on the 20th, or on the 8th, I'm sorry. Next for council consideration, first reading, ordinance 55-2025. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance of the legislative authority of the City of Jackson authorizing the mayor to enter into the indigent defense contract with Jackson County Commissioners to provide legal counsel to indigent persons charged with violations of the Jackson Municipal Code for 2026 in the total amount of $5,000.
Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 55-2025? Mr. Peters, is there a second? Mr. Bott? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Swackhammer.
Yes, we did one last year as well for the same dollar amount. The period though is July 1st to June 30th. So although we're passing it now, the actual contract period is not for another 8 months, beginning in another 8 months. But we had to put it in for budget purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Schweikhammer. Other discussion?
Mr. President, I asked last time, probably still don't know, but do we ever get a refund if we don't spend this money? So
No.
eventually, if the city code's not even
It's good insurance, because it would cost us a whole lot more if we didn't have it in
I was
place.
just trying to think of an instance where, how would we need it? Under city code, what would happen?
So I can answer it.
Sure.
So we're getting fewer and fewer. Most of the jailable offenses are written under state code. But there's still a good number of old cases that are on probation or hadn't been found. The people either hid out for long enough to where those come up. So when we get probation violations, the court has to appoint them counsel. So it pays that. As that gets down in number, it'll probably be less likely that you'll need this. I think the chief would probably know more than I would. There may be 500 people on probation.
Oh, there's more than that on probation.
Okay, there were 9. I thought some of them were down.
We had, I don't know how much they've reduced. I know we have 400 active warrants. A lot of those are from old cases, as we've tried to get through those. To expand on your point, there are several ordinances that are criminal violations above a minor misdemeanor that are not in the Ohio Revised Code. So if we run into those rare circumstances, to give you just a for instance, depositing human feces in your trash can is a second-degree misdemeanor. It's punishable by, what is that, 60 days?
90 days?
90 days in jail and a $750 fine. So if we were to charge somebody, and we've had cases where we've had to investigate that, if we were to charge somebody with that, they would go to court. If they claim indigency, they would be appointed counsel. We would otherwise be responsible to put some of that bill.
Fair enough. Answered all my questions. Hearing that, I'll move to suspend the rules so we can do this budget for next year.
Motion to suspend the rules, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Elliott. Discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Elliott? Yes.
Colby?
Here.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Further discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Ordinance 55, 2025 is duly adopted. Next, first reading, council consideration, it would be, turn my page here, ordinance 56, 2025. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance establishing appropriations for the year 2026, beginning January 1, 2026, and through December 31st, 2026, and declaring an emergency.
Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 56, 2025 is duly adopted? Mr. Bob, is there a second? Ms. Colby? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion. Mr. Swackhammer.
Yes, on your desk when you came in, you would have saw 2 copies of the budget. One is a line item that does not have the 3-hole punch in it. The other is the object. That is the one that needs to go with this legislation. The reason the line item is there is to give you a little bit more detail to look at over the next couple of weeks. I will say, and I'll let Mr. Reed correct me if he disagrees, is that we do expect some changes to this budget. Reason being, we've got so many grants, so many reimbursements out there that over the next couple of weeks, we believe we will have funds coming in that will require us to make some adjustments. So just, I didn't want to hold off until we knew everything, because right now we don't know when we'll know everything, but we need to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Swackhammer. Mr. Reed, would you like to echo that, or?
Not really. There's just a few things with the budget. If we get additional funds, we'll wait till the very end because of a lot of the projects we're allowed to run in the red during the year. We can't roll the end of the year in the red. So we're waiting to see what funds we'll get reimbursed for, and that will reduce the amount of money we have to transfer to carry the fund through the year until next year.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any further action to be taken on ordinance 56, 2025?
Mr. President, so I send my questions to you, or who am I sending my questions to?
Yeah, you can send them to me, or if everybody wants to send them to Cindy and let her bring them together, depending on what they are. They may be mine, they may be Mr. Reed's, maybe the mayor's, so. It's always better if I have one point of contact sending the questions over.
Fair
Anything
enough. I got to step off for a second.
Excused. So any further action to be taken on ordinance 56, 2025? Hearing none. This serves as a first reading for ordinance 56, 2025. Next, for council consideration, ordinance 57, 2025, first reading. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance creating and renaming Fund Number 402 to ODOT Burlington Road Bridge Replacement Project Fund and declaring an emergency.
Could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 57, 2025? Mr. Newkirk, second by Mrs. Young. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Reed.
We already have a Fund 402, so what this is doing is renaming that so it's easier to track. The funds that were awarded will be put into this for next year, and it will be what we will be paying and tracking out of. So all we're doing in this ordinance is renaming a current fund. We've got so many, instead of creating new numbers, we're trying to use numbers that are in the budget that we're not having no purpose currently.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Other discussion? Mr. Elliott?
Suspend the rules.
Move to suspend with Mr. Elliott, second. Mr. Newkirk? Discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Yes.
Further discussion?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby? Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Ordinance 57, 2025 is duly adopted. Next, first reading, ordinance 58, 2025. Kirby?
An ordinance of the Legislative Authority of Jackson, Ohio to enter into an agreement with the AFSC-ME, AFL-CIO Local 3619, the bargaining unit for certain employees of the City of Jackson, and to execute the contract between the city and bargaining unit as required, and declaring an emergency.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 58, 2025 as presented to council? Mr. Newkirk, is there a second? Mr. Bob? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Swackhammer.
Yes, I updated council a couple times about the process going through with the union contract. I am happy to say they took a vote earlier this evening and they approved this contract. We are on a timeline. It'll be considered accepted with no vote in the next, in 2 days from now. I would really appreciate, since our union has accepted it, that council consider accepting it also, since we'd already talked about the TAs, and we were good with those, with the fact finder information. We really, I think, need to do our due diligence and approve this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Swackhammer. Other discussion?
I move to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend, is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Elliott, second. Discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Further discussion? Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And Bob?
Ordinance 58, 2025 is duly adopted. Next, for council consideration, first reading, ordinance 59, 2025. Mr. Kirby?
An ordinance authorizing the correction of scrivener's errors in city ordinances.
Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 59, 2025 as presented to council? Mr. Elliott, second. Mr. Peters? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Discussion. Mr. Kirby?
So periodically, there'll be an out-and-out scrivener's error. I try not to do those often, but more often than not, there's a number that's wrong. There's a title number on a vehicle that the city's going to sell that has a B instead of an H or something like that on it, or an ordinance for the budget that might have a wrong fund number. That clearly is an error. Ohio law allows you to adopt those corrections on a case-by-case basis, but you're also allowed to make a blanket ordinance. And I've done this before in other places. It came up earlier that a while back we were looking at something. I thought this would be a way to avoid that in the future. It would take the city clerk and the legal officer, whoever city attorney is at the time, to review it, to verify that it's truly a scrivener's error, that it does not impact the intent of the ordinance or the resolution in any way, to make that correction, to attach that statement of error to the document, and then go ahead and process it as if it wasn't there. So it doesn't have to come back to council to make a correction of a letter or anything like that.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Other discussion?
Just a question, like in an emergency clause or emergency situation, for something that needs to take effect immediately, is it just when it's hot, like say we pass something tonight, it's an emergency, we adopt it, goes into effect tomorrow, and then when she's entering something, she knows, like how does that?
So it would be effective as if correct on that day. And then what's not on my copy, there is I did have it added in the codified ordinances just so it's not lost. So it'll be in the I don't recall which section, but future councils will know that it's there instead of having to search through the ordinance law books.
Other discussion? Any further action to be taken on ordinance 59, 2025? Hearing none, this constitutes the first reading of ordinance 59, 2025. Next, we'll move into our resolutions. We'll begin with resolution 40, 2025. This will be third reading. Mr. Kirby?
A resolution of the legislative authority of the city of Jackson to enter into an agreement with the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Jackson County, Ohio for fire protection.
Discussion. Mr. Kirby?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Down?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution 40, 2025 is duly adopted. Next, for council consideration, first reading, resolution 45, 25.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an ODOT local let project agreement for the Beaver Pike paving project and declaring an emergency.
Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 40, 2025 as presented to council? Mr. Newkirk, is there a second? Ms. Young, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discussion. Mayor Evans.
Yes, Stacy Plants in our office took the training that's required by ODOT to do this, which will allow us to administer certain ODOT-funded projects, such as the Beaver Pike, that we feel will give us an advantage in pricing as well as timing. And we are very able to do this. I think it puts us in a better position. It is a program they offer, and like I said, she had to have beat training and approved to do.
Thank you, Mayor. Other discussion? Any further action to be taken on resolution 45, 2025? Hearing none, this constitutes the first reading of resolution 40, 2025. Our last resolution for the evening is resolution 46, 2025, first reading. Mr. Kirby?
Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor and declaring an emergency.
Could I have a motion to adopt Resolution 46, 2025 as presented to council? Mr. Elliott, is there a second? Ms. Young, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Reed.
This is provided by the county every year on what the estimation of the levies will bring into the city of Jackson. It's a formality that everybody signs and sends it back to them.
Other discussion?
I move we suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend. Is there a second? Ms. Colby, second. Discussion?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Yeah? Pop?
Further discussion?
Elliott?
Yes.
Colby?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Newkirk?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Pop?
Yes.
Resolution 46, 2025 is duly adopted. Thank you, council, for your work and the ordinance and resolutions portion of the agenda. I don't believe we have any correspondence that has come to us, so we will open the floor for old business. I believe Mr. Peters had spoke there earlier wanting to...
Yeah, just a couple of follow-up questions and discussion about the Redondo water issues. I sent out an email to everyone. There was a response in email. Mr. Hickey explained that there's a process in place in the event of an emergency. My response was, that's a good thing. However, it doesn't really fix the water issue. So it's been 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys have had any time to, kind of figure out at least what direction that you wanted to go in with that. And then I have a question about boil orders. If the pressure is so low and some homes don't have any water, what's the guidelines for a boil order to be issued for that neighborhood? Couple questions.
I want you to address the boil orders because I don't really get involved in that.
Okay. Yeah, it's under 20 is what it is. But we know we've got some areas, and it's not just up there, based on elevations, based on being a looped system. You can't hardly build up pressure on a looped system. And so we have a lot of work to do, whether that be looking at bigger pumps, but it's not a new issue. The pump that's in there and the line that's in there, it's been in there for over 20 years. And it's in many other places besides that area, not only in the city, but in the county and other cities as well, within the county. So it's not an isolated issue that we can address and just fix one isolated issue. It's going to take a lot more planning than that, and probably engineering.
I will tell you that I did have spoken to the mayor about this situation, and the mayor has said that, there has to be some engineering and some other things that are done towards it, and I think this will progress. I think it's, something that's will be ongoing, and it is definitely there to be discussed. And
I do want to make it clear that they do have adequate, low but adequate water pressure for domestic use for their drinking water and stuff. First, to make sure that's not, and we actually upgraded the pump there a couple of years ago, approximately. Talked to my managers about that. Nobody remembered exactly, but in the last couple of years, we've upgraded that pump. That actually improved it from what it had been for many years. Like Mr. Schwackhammer said, the fire hydrant situation is the same it's been, to our knowledge, and our managers have been here 20-some years. It's been that way since Redondo Drive was there. So it hasn't gotten a lot worse all of a sudden. I just don't want y'all to think that, because it's the same, it's not a good situation for fire hydrants, but it's the same as it's always been there. So, I would also add to that, that project of whatever it is, it's just a name right now, has been on our capital improvement list for years, to try to do something with that. As have many other water projects in the city. The water line situation in the city of Jackson is not good, frankly. Every water line, just about every water line except what we've replaced in the last 5 years, probably should be replaced. But we're talking, you know, we're not talking millions of dollars, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. And every time we replace a water line, repair a water line, the water line we take out is in pathetic shape, frankly. And a lot of them are very old, but we have, on our capital improvement projects, there's over 100 projects that's been proposed. Some of them have been on there since before we got here, even. But we have been actually improving a lot of them. As you know, the last 5 years, we've got a lot of grant money. We've done a lot of water line replacement and repairs, but we're just scratching the surface, really, of the whole big picture. But, for instance, I have some of them here that we've done. You know, we did new water lines over in the Mill Street area. We call it Central Avenue, Mill Street, that area where there was very inadequate or lack of drinking water even. We also did sewer lines over there where there was no sewer. Other water projects we've done, we just did a big Main Street water to fix the water line down Main Street and also down into Florence. The Florence and Anderson Drive water line replacement projects were on this capital improvement list before I got here. And we have been able to get some of them. The South Street water line was a huge one that we were able to get grant money for. Unfortunately, the Redondo Drive water line replacement has not been able to address, and here's why. All of those other projects we've done with grant money. And all of that grant money is tied to one of two things. Either low income or economic development, the effect of economic development, which means it's a main water line going to one of our big employers or something like that, such as the Main Street water line, the South Street water line. Those are all main. We've been able to get grant money for those and made a long way on this list. Unfortunately, the line going to Redondo Drive doesn't qualify for grants. So the only way we could do that was in-house money or loan money or something like that. That's the reason it's never moved to it's never been done yet, frankly. We just haven't been able to get any grant money to do it. Not that it doesn't need done, but we've got many, as Chief Hickey said, we've got many fire hydrants around town that doesn't meet the minimum standard, including those two on Redondo. But there's no quick, easy fix. Mr. John has brought it to the forefront. We've talked about it in our managers meeting last week and this week, just this morning actually. We will, what we can do is we try to find grant money to hire the engineering part of that, because we don't know, there's been suggestions of what might help, but no proof or guarantee that would help, tying into another water line, bigger booster pump, different things. At any rate, we'd have to have the project probably engineered, probably have to get a high EPA permit, and then we'd have to have the money to do it. And it's not a cheap project either. There's no quick, easy fix. If there was, we'd have done it 5 years ago. We'd have done it when we replaced or upgraded the pump there 2 years ago even. So we're working on it. I don't, that sounds like an excuse, but we're working on it. I don't have an answer. None of us have an answer yet, but we are working on it. But I just wanted to reiterate, safe water drinking, there's adequate pressure to meet the standards for drinking water. The fire hydrants are subpar, as many are in our city, and it's the same situation it's been for the last 75 years, I guess. So
One quick question, just since you brought that up. There are other places in the city. I feel like we should be a little bit more transparent with those neighborhoods as well. Because if they don't know that that's an issue, and I would want to know if I see a fire hydrant in my front yard, gives you like a false hope of security seeing it there. I just feel like we need to be a little bit more transparent on where these areas are. It's not fair to the residents to think that they do have adequate water. So to follow up with that email with the fire response, that's great, but, you know, the response times for those fire departments to get here too, that's built in as well. So we're talking about in a situation where seconds really, really do matter. The public deserves to have some sort of peace of mind. We need to be a little bit more transparent. Same with these projects that you talked about. No one on council's privy to any of that stuff, so if you could share those things so we could all maybe work together to try to resolve some of these things, prioritize them. But, I mean, I'm hearing from neighbors there that, you know, this has been talked about for the last 5 years, and then it kind of just died down, and then it's still there. So I just would ask that we be a little bit more transparent, not just with Redondo Drive, but other places in the city where there are issues with water. Because personally, I would want to know if I didn't have adequate fire protection right in front of my house. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Thank you, Mayor. Any other areas of old business to be brought before council?
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr.
I have
Elliott?
a question about the cemetery bench. I just didn't want to forget that. I would like to revisit that maybe. What was that, from 2010 originally?
The legislation previous was 2010?
Yeah, it was reviewed again in 2020, and I don't think we made any changes.
Yeah.
I don't recall making any changes. Just do.
Are you asking for a committee meeting, or are you?
I am asking for some.
For the record, no one has reached out to me regarding any of that.
I'm reaching out. As we speak. Okay.
I have a lot of information about what we discussed.
Okay.
I dug it up and read through it, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other old business to be brought before council? Any new business to be brought before council, I believe?
We did, Board of Zoning Appeals granted a variance on Trigo Avenue or Street. Plus, we have a meeting coming up at 6:45 at our next meeting, which is what?
11/24.
24th.
6:45 on the 24th.
Yeah.
Mr. Schweckhammer?
Yes, I have a utility permit request for outside the city for a 200 amp service, as well as a water tap for a residential at the address of 195 Turner Avenue.
Questions from council? Is there a motion to grant this request? Turner Avenue?
I'm sorry.
I can tell you. I mean, I think David could tell you, but I heard the question. It's outside the city, out at the McKittrick Heights, clear at the back end of McKittrick Heights, like above, next to the Greer Farm. Somewhere out there is Turner Avenue. It's not even adjacent to the city. It's adjacent to, it's part of McKittrick Heights, Turner Avenue is. And being outside the city, these requests, if approved by council, all you're approving is that allow us to provide utilities to them. I think they wanted electric and water.
Correct.
The expense would all be at them. We would charge them all expenses the city acquired because of them being outside the city. That's been the practice.
Yep.
So they want electric, they're gonna have to pay for, you know, the pole, the wire, the transformer, whatever they need to get it there.
A motion by Mr. Elliott to grant. Is there a second? Ms. Young, second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Other new business to be brought before council. Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion for adjournment. Mr. Peters, second. Mr. Newkirk, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Stand in adjournment.